Hello, friends, and welcome to those who are visiting for the first time. Now, it is a common saying to hear people say, "You're too young to know what love is." Now, who is the genius human that came to the conclusion that age has anything to do with the understanding of what love or emotion or feelings are? Think about that carefully. Now, if children or people under 18 don't know what love is, why one of the first things you teach a child or say to a child is, "I love you," and they say it back to you. Now, if you think they don't understand that, and then they say the opposite to you, "I hate you because of a disciplinary act or something that you did that triggered this feeling and emotion," and then they blurted this out, "I hate you." Why does that have an effect when you hear that? You believe it. So if they can convey that emotion that makes it compellingly obvious and hurts, and you know that they understand what that means, why the opposite is not true, that they can understand what love is? Now, does that mean that those who are over 18 know what love is? Why are there so many breakups? They start out in relationships and "I love you," then now "I don't love you anymore." Clearly you have no clue what love is then. Love has no age bracket, barrier, or boundaries. That is why it is taught, actually felt, before the woman even gives birth. She loves the unborn child. And I don't know this for sure. So uh, when a child is born and looks into his mother's eyes, if that sparks an immediate falling in love with the mother. Children fall in love with the first humans on the planet are their mother and father, without question. Now, let me give you some factual scenarios. Why do children cry when their parents, mother or father, usually the father, when he's leaving, they cry, or being handed or taken away from their mother and father? There's an emotional attachment there, something genuine, something that can clearly be seen, but it's not tangible, it's not physical. You can't hold on to it. That's emotion, that's love. Now, remember, the scriptures say God is love. Now, everyone has this seed within them. Now, whether you love God or not, even those who hate God love certain things and love um, disobeying God. Now, love again has multiple meaning. I think, if I'm correct, for agape, filio, I'll put it up. I don't remember the other two, but in English term, there's the romantic love. The first love a human experience is the parental love, then the sibling or friendship love, and then the romantic love. Three or four. We'll double check that. So, why is it then also? I know a couple that fell in love from they were 15, over 40 years now married. I know people that got married after 18, they're divorced. Clearly destroys the notion to say that those under 18 don't know what love is. Clearly, many people know. Now, I got married at 24, 6 years, and I shared this in other videos, and divorced. I thought marriage was a one-time thing, and that's what God says. It was till death do you part. Now, you don't murder the person to get out of it. You stay together until one passes away. Just a little joke there. But I'll give you factual things now from when I was 5. Did I understand how to articulate the emotion I felt? No, but I remember this without any um, effort at all. Natasha Lushing, a little Asian girl from kindergarten. We used to sit together for lunch. Either I got there first and then she would find me, or vice versa. But every time we saw each other, this great smile came upon our face, and we would always share um, our lunch together. We had this fondness for each other. Could that have been love? I don't know. But the emotions were there, because I don't know how to give it a word, but the same type of feeling that transpired at that age. My best friend in high school, it was similar. So from 5 to teenage age in high school, it was there. Now, my first love was, I think I was 15, and Tracy, I shared this in other videos, was 13 when I went to her school for a fashion show and we saw each other, fell in love at first sight. Oh, but how can you be in high school or middle school and know what love is? We stayed together until I came to the US and continued, even though we were not intimate physically, even though I was sinning and being intimate physically with other girls, not with her. She was a gift to God. You won't understand that unless you um, hear about the story of the sacrifice for Tracy. Now, even after we became 18 and we spoke for a little while, and then she told me she met someone, that was the end of our writing back and forth. We used to write letters back then. There were no cell phones or social media. So we knew what love was at that age, and it only grew. But the problem is, when you're younger, there are no barriers, so you love without reservation. So the love is more pure, more genuine, and deeper. Now, that is why I'll get this into another video, how there is no age when it comes to love in the scriptures. Not for this video. There's some serious stuff that I'll share in our other video. But as we break up in a relationship, then what happens? You start to lay a brick, then another brick. Then this person did this. So now I don't trust. So we become um, cheap when it comes to love. I'm not talking about the uncontrolled scenarios where beyond rational thinking, you just, I love this person regardless of how they treat you, or if they reciprocate that love or not. Sometimes it can be a negative thing, but for the most part, you build bridges and barriers. That's what happened to me after my divorce. And I've ruined relationships, share that in other videos too. And many people that I've counseled have done this. Mostly guys will sabotage their own relationship when they realize that the person that they're seeing, that they find that that wall will come down and they will love them very deeply. And that frightens them. So they sabotage. I did that also, regretfully, but in those scenarios, is I'd rather, or this is the conclusion, is that it will hurt less if I break it off than for something to happen and then we separate without me not wanting that other person to leave. You see? So that emotional love is so serious, so profound, so deep that people self hurt because of it. So, in actuality, the younger you are, the deeper you will love. Can you still fall in love deeply after 18? Of course, because love is boundless. There's no age that tell you when to love or how to love. Now, If someone under 18 uh, don't know what love is or all these emotions, why are they allowed to date? What do you think dating is? There's only one conclusion, one destination for dating, and that is to engage in intimacy. Social media is filled with many under 18 talking about dating and boyfriend and girlfriends. Why are they allowed if they should not know what love is? They do the same thing. Matter of fact, I speak for myself and my high school audience back then. We do the same exact thing that over 18 do. Intimacy, intimacy is identical at whatever age you're engaging in it. So, what should be focused on is if they don't know what love is, curb that dating until afterwards. But you can't stop it. There's nothing any person, human, country, government can do to stop a human being from dating at whatever age they want to date. I will also share this serious scenario in one of my counseling sessions where I've been counseling since high school. Briefly, for those who are new to the channel, is I went to my teacher to ask something. I don't even remember what it was. But while I was waiting for the response from the teacher, another student came up and wanted to ask a question. So I said, "You go ahead, ask." So when they asked the question, I answered for the teacher. And then they thanked me and left. So the teacher said, "Oh, you should become a counselor, a student counsel." And I was like, "What's that?" Because I didn't know what it was, and I just didn't want any more homework. So I became a student counselor throughout high school. And since the martial art training becomes, you incorporate that counseling and philosophy and to present, I still do today. So that's many years. So this one was concerned about becoming intimate with her boyfriend or lose him. She was only 10 years old. That I'll share in another video. So instead of coming down with stupidity and thinking that if you Google it, or their minds or brains is not developed, they don't know what all that emotion, that's a bunch of nonsense. Because I know many people that have started dating from high school and are still married 20, 30, 40 years. I didn't know them back then. I know them now and learned that from that point. So instead, that is why you have so much problems with the teenage age. I didn't have a problem with them in my teaching because I spoke to them the way they wanted to be spoken to. The same way when I was growing up, I hated someone saying, "You're a child," because of my age, when I know deep inside that I wasn't. Because just like Paul says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, and I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Where's the age in that? So think about that carefully because that describes what maturity and adulthood is. It is a state of being, a state of mind, a state of understanding within oneself. If you don't agree with that, then please, on earth, tell me why would you even condone the idea or thought to allow a 5-year-old boy to live like a girl if they don't understand what love is? How could he possibly know about what these emotions are? And if you dare to say, well, he knows what's going on inside, you just answered this stupid question that obviously they know what's going on at that early age. You can't have it both ways. Either they're a bunch of idiots and they should be told what to do from the moment they're born till the night before they become 18, and then this miraculous transformation happens when they go to sleep at 17, wake up at 18, and they're a full-blown adult, bypassing any young adult stage just to adulthood. Because from adulthood, 18, which is Now you can sign contracts and do whatever you want and don't have to answer to anyone. So is they can enter the military, fight and die for their country. So where is the actual development into adulthood? You treat them as a child, adult tomorrow, and wonder why there are so many problems mentally, psychologically, emotionally. There's a lot more to teach, but this is 15 minutes. I don't want to go too long with this video, but there's much more to share with the age understanding of when a person is capable of certain things in reality, as opposed to the criteria in which are imposed on a human being just because. Okay, so stop saying that a person is too young to love. Instead, to keep a peaceful home, ask them, i- do they want to share that emotion? How can I help? Just listen, because no human knows the other person's emotions better than the person that's living in their own body. That is why, stupidly, you will allow a 5-year-old to be something that they cannot be, but then 10 years after that, when they've lived for longer and understand more about themselves and their body, then you start to treat them more like a child at 15 than when a child is actually at 5. Stupid. Well, that's it for this video. I'm Pastor Rich, Walking Ministries Online, and I will see you soon.